Page 9, O Susanna. And oh, we got missing notes in here. Look at this. At the top, they're telling you to fill in the missing chords. And we're still on this primary chord thing, the 1, the 4, and the 5, 7 chord. Remember, in the key is C, 1 chord, 4 chord, 5, 7 chord. Well, this is a good example of how music used to be a long time ago, where they wouldn't necessarily give you the notes, they'd give you the chord, and you had to fill in the notes. So in the first line, they're giving you the 1 chord, and then the next measure, they don't give you the notes, they just give you the 1 indication. You play the 1 chord again, and again in the next measure, and then the 5, 7. So you're filling in the notes, just reading the chord names. That's quite common, actually. If you want to get into improvising, this really comes in handy. In the second line, the first measure, it's 1 chord, 1 chord, and the next measure, you got a 1 chord and a 5, 7 chord, and a 1 chord. Third line, now it's a 4 chord, and you're just following the chord numbers and playing the chord in the left hand. So each time you see a number, that's when you play the chord. If you want to write in the notes, that's up to you, but a lot of times in improvising you don't do that. It's all in your head. You just do it. Now, O Susanna, right hand, let's just make sure we got this covered with notes first. We're starting here, 1, 2, 3, and then the G's. You have a 5 on the first one, and you see the 4 with a circle around it. That's the way Noona indicates when you have to change hand positions, when you have to move your hand. They do it with a circle. That's not really part of the music, that's just the way Noona does things. But here, it just means you use your 4th finger. You got to come up here. That's quite common in piano, and I like to use different fingers on repeated notes anyway, so this is great, because we're repeating that note. Because we need the little finger for the A, and then here, next measure, and then a 2 on the E, and you bring the thumb down for the C. This is the same fingering pattern we had in the previous song, and then bring the little the hand down here. So you're kind of moving around a little bit, but that's going to happen a lot as we go through, and music gets a little more involved. You're going to move around a lot more. Third line down, it sort of happens again when you're starting out in this position, and then later on you got to come down here. Okay. Rhythm wise, let's talk about it. It's got 2/8 notes as a pickup. Well, in 4/4 time, 2/8 notes gets 1 beat. So we're coming in on beat 4. The first 3 beats of the measure are actually at the bottom. The last measure has 3 beats in it. Yeah. So it's 4 and 1. 4 and 1, right there. And then we have that dotted rhythm again. 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. See the G, the second G comes on beat 3. The dot comes on beat 4, because the quarter note gets a count. So the dot comes on beat 4, it gets half a count. So the 8th note comes on the and of 4. 3 and 4 and that's the way this, and you get this dotted rhythm throughout. The notes might be different, but the rhythm's the same, and that's the way it counts. So you work that out, and then you put the hands together. Hopefully the chords in the left hand aren't going to be too much of a problem, so you can focus on the right hand. And 4 and. Make sure you play that again. I forgot to play it, huh? 3 and 4. 1, 2, and 3 and. Like so. So you work it out, both hands together. See if you can play it. You go as slow as you need to, because right now we're learning. Then when you can get it, then you can go back. There's no phrasing or nothing marked, so don't worry about it. It says it's MP at the beginning. MP, medium soft, mezzo piano. That's the melody. Here, it's sort of soft. Yeah. Then in the third line down, now it's MF. which is just a little louder than MP. Not a lot, just a little louder here. And that's basically all they give you on dynamics. So then it's just a matter of speeding it up. And keep in mind the dynamics to the melody. Keep the chords soft. Vivace is really fast. It's not, there's faster than Vivace. Vivace is really fast. You can find recordings of O Susanna where people played at different speeds or sing it at different speeds. It's a happy piece. Over time you work it up and get it faster, but never take it faster than you can play it accurately. Right notes and right rhythms and all that come first. That's more important than speed. Now, as I said before, they don't give you any phrasing in here, but they give you the words, so you can follow the words and find out the phrasing. It's basically when you have a pause in the words, or like at the end of a sentence or a comma or something, that could be the end of a phrase. Like the last measure, the first line here, that would be to me an end of a phrase. So I'd lift up before I play the D's, or before I play the eighth notes. Just a little up here. And then I start it again. Into the second line, same thing. That ends a phrase. So before I go on, because you're going to repeat. If you repeat, then before you do it again, lift it up. Of course, when you play the same notes, you have to. If you go on, you gotta rest, so yeah, okay. Third line down, last measure, you have the D. Again, to me that's the end of a phrase. I would lift up before playing the eighth notes and start a new phrase, so it's just this. It just makes it a little more musical. So if I can do like the last two measures of the first line going into the second, it would be that. You hear the phrasing in there? Add the phrasing in, it really helps a lot. Whether you take a pencil and mark it in the music is up to you. You can, if you need to. Otherwise, you just remember, or you learn to feel the phrasing. Yeah, that's the end of a phrase. I'm starting a new one. There's musical sentences. You'll learn to feel these things. Sort of. There's disagreement on that, but let's see what we can do. Now, in the last measure, they've got pedal marked. Now you notice the I, the little one that's a Roman numeral, they went to one chord when you play it. And then for the last beat on B3, you just move the left hand, it's got an 8VA under it, move it down an octave and play staccato. And they would pedal that so you can keep this sound. I'm not going to show the pedal if that's all they're going to show it for, but you would push the pedal down right after you play the notes. You lift the pedal up as you play the staccato, because if you don't, you won't get a staccato. Just lift everything up right there together. That's technically, there's two different ways of interpreting this, but to keep it simple. When you play the staccato, everything comes up. Right there together. Just do it that way. That's fine. So let's play this together slowly. You go ahead and learn it. Do the best you can with it. And then come back and play it with me and check your notes and rhythms. And we are going to do the repeat there on the end of the second line. As a one beat pickup, I'll give us 3 counts. So go ahead and put your hands where they go. 1, ready, and go, and. 3 and 4, and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3. Repeat. 4. And 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and rest and 2, 3, 4.